Hey Soul Tribes, this is Solstice here. Doing what you love is definitely one of the ways to feel younger naturally. But today I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why doing what you love for money isn't necessarily the way to feel younger. The first reason is that too much of a good thing will leave you feeling burned out. When I was a kid growing up, I had very imaginative siblings, and we would play things like banker. We would make a whole town, and we would even make like the drawers in our dresser like a deposit, slip and stuff like that. And I realized that we had fun playing banker. But when you play banker when you're an adult, the reason why we don't like playing banker when we're an adult is because we have to do it 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, every day for years and years. When you're a kid and you're inside that magical child, you can do something as mundane as laundry. Like my little brother had this little Tykes laundry washer and dryer that he loved to play laundry. But when you have to do laundry all the time, you just get burnt out on it. When you're a kid, as soon as you're bored with it, you can just put it down and go on to something else. The second reason is that time is money. I actually try to find ways in which I can work less in order to have more time for doing the things that I love. And that means buying less material things because time matters more to me. And if you talk to people who have money, they oftentimes find that they work a lot to have that money, but they don't have time to enjoy it. I once watched this documentary on happiness, and it was a big study that they had found to what makes people actually happy. And they found that other than having your basic needs met, like your food, your shelter, your feeling of safety in the world, your health, other than that, money does not make you happy.
When we finally got down to something which the individual says he really wants to do, I will say to him, you do that. And forget the money. Because if you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You'll be doing things you don't like doing in order to go on living, that is, to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid.
I once read this book called Ecotopia, and all of the citizens of Ecotopia only had to work a 20-hour work week. Everybody had a job, there wasn't homelessness, everybody took care of each other, they spent more time taking care of each other, and they also did a lot more of what they loved to do. And I wanted to wonder what if you only had to do what you loved for 20 hours a week instead of 40 or 60 or 80 hours a week? Or maybe you don't have to do what you love for a living. Maybe you're just doing something that supports the rest of society for 20 hours a week, and that supports your inner magical child to just go home and play and rest. I know what you're thinking. That's all fine and great, Solstice, but this is the real world. But I want to encourage you to find ways to maneuver around the current system in which we live. It was only about 100 years ago that child labor was still perfectly acceptable. I find that when we change the way we want to do things, our leaders and the rest of everyone else is given permission to do something different, and it starts to change the bigger world around us. So keep finding a way to do more of what you love. If you would like to read the book Ecotopia, you can find a link to it in the description below. In an upcoming video, I'm going to have a video about how I budget my money so I have more time to do what I love. So subscribe so you can get notified of that video. Reason number 3 is you may just want to do things you love, but not for money. Remember when you were a kid and you were asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? I think for me especially, because I'm a multi-passionate, and if you've never heard of that term, you can check out the TED Talk link in the description below, talking more about that. I tried so hard to figure out what I wanted to do because I love to do so many things. And I love hanging out with my friend Ellen. My friends are always telling me that I'm really good at massage, but I keep thinking, I don't want to do it for a living. I just enjoy massaging my friends. I love to play the flute, but I don't want to do that for a living. I love to pretend that I'm a mermaid, but I don't want to do that for a living. In my early 20s, when I was struggling to figure out the answer to what I wanted to be when I grew up, I was watching the movie The Office. It's a cult classic. If you haven't seen it, you've got to see it.
Our high school guidance counselor used to ask us what you would do if you had $1 million. Didn't have to work. And then invariably, whatever you'd say, that was supposed to be your career. So if you wanted to fix old cars, then you're supposed to be an auto mechanic.
So what did you say?
I never had an answer. I guess that's why I'm working in Ecotopia.
Well, what about you now? What would you do?
Nothing.
Nothing, huh?
I would relax. I would sit on my ass all day. I would do nothing.
Which brings us to reason number 4. That's right, reason number 4 is sometimes you're just not in the mood to do what you love to do. You need downtime. You need to practice the art of doing nothing. If you would like to watch one of my videos on the art of doing nothing while I have my coffee meditations, you can find it here. When you're doing what you love to do for money, then you're obligated to do it like all the time, whether you want to or not. And then there's the time anxiety, the feeling obligated to do it or have to get it done by a deadline. That just takes all of the fun out of it. When I was feeling so burnt out after 5 years of college, I remember reading Eckhart Tolle, or maybe I just heard him say it, but he gave me the best advice, which was, if you're feeling lazy, then be completely and totally lazy. Because when you resist the laziness, it just makes it last longer, it prolongs it. You have to give yourself full permission to just be totally and completely lazy. And then eventually, you'll come out of it. I have found that when I give myself permission to fully be lazy, I still get it all done. And I just wait for the excitement and the passion for what I'm trying to create in the world to return to me. And that is actually your intuition telling you or guiding you that the timing is right, it's the time to do it now. And when you flow with that, everything else just flows. You get to still do what you love, and you get to rest. When the timing is right, it just comes together easily and effortlessly. Reason number 5, not everything you do to get to do what you love is going to be fun. And that's where the contrast comes in. It gives you gratitude for being able to do the things that you love. If you were doing what you love all the time, there'd be no contrast between the things that you don't love doing. But try to hear the distinction of what I'm trying to say here between pushing yourself to the point of completely burning yourself out and doing what it takes to do what you want to do what you love. Do you recall when you were a child and your mom was asking you to clean your room when you were in the middle of something, like jumping on the trampoline or swimming in the pool, where you just really were just not feeling well? If your inner parent isn't sensitive or understanding to this and just makes you go clean your room right then and there instead of either allowing yourself a break and agreeing to clean it when you're more rested or when you're done being in your creative mode, of course there is the payoff of the enjoyment of the satisfaction of a clean bedroom, but there's a time and place for everything if you allow it to flow. Thanks for watching, Soul Tribes. Please comment below if you got any ahas. I would like to hear those and share those with me in your comments below. And please subscribe and be part of my tribe.